I've rarely ever failed at a goal. I can't think of a goal that I didn't meet. I mean, as long as the goal is realistic. But I have failed at really defining a goal. So when you fail to define a goal, well, you're going to be disappointed, aren't you? And I think that's what a lot of people go through. So I started looking at things that I was successful in my life, and everything that was tied to some kind of a goal, something very tangible, something measurable, something you could assess progress, but it was a clear destination, very clear in your destination. So that's kind of what, define your destination, where you want to go, and be specific. I put this map down here, which you can't see, but basically kind of like this. If you're going to, I got to go to San Diego, or you can say something really vague. I got to go west. West, where's that? I don't know, San Diego. Okay, now you're getting somewhere. Well, when do you want to be there? Tomorrow by 4 o'clock p.m. Okay, great. How are you going to get there? By car, by plane, by train, by whatever. But you got to have this planned out. You start looking at where you want to be and when you want to be there. And I'm not talking about being there generally in the afternoon. I'm talking about 4:11 p.m. I'm going to be there at this place, and that's where I'm going to, getting really specific and clear about where you want to go. That helps you kind of navigate the rest. But that's, again, something that I think most of us fail to do in general. Build the roadmap. So, like I said, how are you going to get there? Prioritize activities. What are the order of steps? If you're going to build a house, you're going to start with the foundation, not the coat of paint. Those are things to think about. Take action, and that's where people fail too. You can all have a good idea, but then who's going to take that action? And that's really the hardest part, it seems like, for people once they get a goal, to take action. Keep moving, keep advancing. And if you don't know where you're going, sometimes it's, like I can tell you, I've had times where it's really frustrating. Steve's probably been on the other end of a frustrating phone call, lent his support to me, because I'm like, man, these guys, they don't get it, And sometimes the path isn't clear, but you keep advancing. I know I'm going to the top of the mountain. That's decided. That's the mountain I'm going to. Well, I'm just going to keep walking. And then, sometimes the path emerges. Have faith, keep advancing. Goal attainment. So the first thing is mastering the skills of your trade. I see so many people, you go to the grocery store, and people are completely careless. They're completely inept. But it usually has to do with an attitude. Like, wow, you're bagging groceries. That's what you do. And it's not that, and look, it's what you do, and that's your trade. And if you don't like it, then do something else. But be great at that. Why not? That's what you do. Master your trade. And that's something that is consistent with a lot of NFL players, the guys that make it, not guys that hang around for a year. But you take a look at guys like Larry Fitzgerald. All he ever does is master his trade. So he can replicate winning and reproduce success. It's not a fluke. It says luck is an excuse used by losers to explain someone else's success. Masters reproduce that success in any environment. Own the responsibility, which is critical. You're a product of your thoughts and your actions. Accept and embrace failures as lessons. They're your best teacher. We've talked about that. I think that's so important, and it's something we don't see a lot with kids anymore. They're all winners. You just ask them. So we got to keep people on point, and really own that responsibility, because no one's going to be in charge of your success other than you. Adapt to adversity and flow with so flowing with the current. Because everyone's going to have to experience pain, difficulty, loss. We all think other people don't. Oh, look at that guy, he's got it all figured out. No, he's got something going on. Everyone does. So just roll with it. And then you find yourself off track, just don't be so emotional about it. Just regroup and get back on path. Rediscover that path. Believe in yourself. This is another intangible thing that I think most people don't believe in themselves. There's a movie I watched. Is it called The Grader? Have you guys ever heard of this movie? Grader? Anyway, it's a cool movie. About a guy who was kind of the fat kid. He was a walk-on. They told him he sucked. Ended up being a first-round draft pick. And just because, I've seen those kind of stories with people throughout the course of my NFL career, because you run into really interesting people. Like, how'd you get here, man? Because this is not easy, by the way. People ask you, well, what's it like playing in the NFL? I'm like, well, do you want me to tell you a story that makes you feel good, or do you want me to tell you the truth? We're like, well, tell me the truth. Have you ever taken a rubber mallet and put your hand on the table and just beat your fingers over and over again with it? Have you? I'm like, no, I've never done it. Yeah. So what, you wouldn't want to do that, right? No, that's terrible. Well, that's like what it's like on a daily basis. Then do that 5 or 6 days a week. No, it's tough. It's a physical grind. You can't be. It takes a special kind of wired person. Maybe some would argue crazy, but that's not. I think it's more just about the belief system, because you're not going to let anything get in your way, and that's something that I found really unique about guys that can play at have long careers, besides their physical attributes. All that really matters is what you think, and we get caught up in what other people think too often, and that gets in the way of our success for sure. And I'd say avoid or abandon people that try to detract from your goals. What are they going to do for you and your company? Why do you want some dead weight over here? Guy, it's cancerous for your program. Because all he wants to do is, or he or she, all they want to do is pull you down, criticize, and cause problems. They're getting in the way of your objectives. And you can say that, well, that's not very nice. Well, I mean, I'm not going to be mean to the person, but I'm just going to tell you who I need on my team. This is my team. We're going this place right now, and I'm on board with that. And that's important. You got to look for those kind of things because people they can get in your way. They can drag you down. The last one, I heard this from John Fox. He's a head coach in the NFL. He said there's two things you can do with pressure. Most people feel pressure. He goes, when you get in that environment, instead of feeling it, apply it. Apply it to the person, to the opponent. Apply it to the situation. Don't ever feel it. Apply it. And that stuck with me because it's easy to feel pressure. You go, man, I got to go do this. It's like, no, I'm going to apply pressure to this situation. I felt that was important to me. That's something I found some motivation and inspiration in that. And I like to share that with players that we train. This quote from Sun Tzu: if you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the results of 100 battles. Has anybody read The Art of War? It's a great book. It's used all over the place. It's got so many levels of meaning to it. But really, that's the same thing I had to do in football. Same thing I do in business. The same thing you guys do. It's really don't go down the middle of a guy that's bigger than you. Attack him where he's weak. Accentuate your strengths. Have a plan and just understand. Understand know yourself very well, because if you do, you know where you're vulnerable, and then you can always apply it and play to your strengths. That was something in martial arts, in jiu-jitsu in particular, taught me, because I said I got beat up by these guys, and I had to learn not to, and learn to play to my strengths. And then the last one here is be honest with yourself. Self-awareness. I mean, being self-aware, so that allows you to almost look at yourself from 30,000 feet instead of getting caught in the fire down here in the middle. Because don't be reactive, emotional. Just be honest, and then that's something is really a trait I find in top performers and guys that I respect. So goals continued. Assess your progress. You can't grow what you can't measure. When I was playing in high school, I remember, wow, cool, I learned a new thing. Or in college, I learned a new technique. My growth was really, you take a growth, the growth is massive at first. Take big steps. And then you get to the top of the ladder, toward the top, and the growth is so minimal, it's really hard to even know if you're growing, especially when your coach tells you suck all the time. It's really hard to, So being able to really assess and know where you're at, be objective about it, but measure yourself. Control your thoughts here, because this is where, when that coach tells you suck, you got to be super vigilant about that. Control your thoughts and think beyond your environment to advance. And that's another thing that it's really helped me out, with the boxing commission for one. I'm the chairman of the boxing commission. I've been on it for 2 years. It's an interesting thing. I've always looked at the government from the outside going, what an incompetent group of people, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. But you realize, well, the system is in place. It's hard to, how do I cultivate a change? How do I change the environment there? I don't want to be one of those people that just shows up and lets the environment change me, because I'll quit. I told them that. I go, I got other things I got to do, but I want to really see some changes around here. So we were able to do that. And in part because I think maybe I pushed pretty hard, and in part because we had some really great people down there that changed my mind about all the people in government too. They're really hard workers. They're people that really saw the benefit. We had this broken system there where we had a lot of the statute was written in the 1980s for boxing and MMA. And we're tasked with the job of protecting the fighters to the degree we can, keeping the events as safe as possible. And you think about that, the goal is to knock the other guy out. So, it's not a safe sport in that sense. But there's a lot that you can do, and to really kind of keep this thing going, keep people, protect them to the degree you can. There's many things we can do. And I thought that the statutes and the rules and all the stuff and the policies were all not in real alignment with that. And it was hard to do anything. And so I kind of brought the idea up to the people. I said, we got a broken wheel. We keep troubleshooting that. Every time we have a problem, we troubleshoot. Let's just destroy this wheel and create a new one. They're like, well, how do we do that? I don't know. I didn't even know if this was possible, but we ended up not needing any new legislation, but we were able to change the entire rules and get rulemaking authority back and do things to meet the modern demands of MMA, with all this, in light of many of the concussion concerns, things like that, because these guys are all getting concussed, win or lose. So we've implemented baseline testing, done some things that haven't been able to, no one was able to get done. The next one is compare to no one. Many of us look to our left and look to our right. We're all unique. Everybody here has got traits, that are really amazing traits. And that's, again, knowing yourself. But don't compare to somebody else. That's really not fair to you, and it doesn't allow you to reach your top. Appreciate your growth. Again, celebrate. I never did that. Played 7 years pro. Did some cool things, but I never even thought it was cool. I actually was I was never like that. You gotta keep grinding. But when you appreciate your success, it helps you grow more. It really does, So find success and recognize that, not just continue, because it's really tough. It's tough to play in that environment when it's a thankless environment. You guys probably have that in business. Oh, you missed your quota, or whatever you did. I don't know how it works for each person here, but there's going to be setbacks and disappointments. But when you do have growth, you got to appreciate that and try to get more of it. And it's about momentum. You got to take advantage of that momentum. Envision and feel what it's going to be like when you reach the top. And that's something that's kind of like, man, that water's going to taste good when I get it, or that's really going to be great sweet when I reach the top of the mountain. You can't lose sight of that. And that's really another thing I found to be very critical when it comes to goal attainment. The last one and most important one is love what you do. This one's I used Larry Fitzgerald already in a conversation. That guy loves playing football. I mean, you watch him. You guys watch football, right? Has ever seen Larry? Maybe you've seen him upset, but he's always pretty happy. I played with a guy. He's always happy. So when you're happy and you're excited and you enjoy something, you're good at it, typically. So I think, now sometimes you may not really like what you do. You can find ways to like it. When I got to the NFL, I didn't like the fact that it was really tough. One of the biggest challenges for me was coming from college at ASU, where it was a team. We're amateurs, maybe the coaches made real money. We were scraping by, but we cared about each other. And I can't let my guy down next to me. The NFL, it's like we're mercenaries, So I got there, it's like, hey, you, next, get in there. If you can make it, yeah, great, it's good for you, but no one cares. It's all kind of a facade, the team thing. The only time is when you really feel like you're part of a team is when you're in the playoffs. You're like, hey, I think this is the group that's going to go. I'm pretty sure none of us are getting cut at this point, so let's go. We all need that check, so come together. I hate to say it, it's the truth. I can tell you some crazy stories, but it's really important that that was something for me about loving what I do. I kind of hit that wall. I'm like, I don't love what I'm doing right now. So I went through many years in professional football not loving it, and I had to find things about it I loved. I'm like, well, I don't love this owner. I don't love this coach. I don't love a lot of the stuff they have us doing. I don't love the medical trainers. I don't love the city I'm in. There are a lot of reasons in Philadelphia, not the city of brotherly love. It's a miserable place. But anyway, I got drafted by the Eagles. It was culture shock. But no, you got to find things that you can love about it. So you find things to extract out of that. So I enjoyed wearing out the guy across from me that makes more money than me. Those are little games within a game. I'm going to break this guy down. I'm going to feel pretty good about that. So anyway, finding games within a game, finding really passion for it and loving what you do. It's really important. And that's just a choice. That's something you can decide. It's really an attitude.